Millions of people today consider themselves Christian Zionists, which means they believe that God made a promise to Abraham that gave what we call the Holy Land to Abraham and all of his physical descendants forever. But there are multiple contradictions in Christian Zionism that seem to be just ignored. And there's one blatant contradiction that's hidden in plain sight within Christian Zionism's ideology. The single piece of evidence that I'll share with you today in this video exposes Christian Zionism for the false doctrine that it is. Hi, I'm Vanessa. Welcome to Wholeheartedness and to my first mini-series, The Bible and Israel. Christian Zionists take God's promise to Abraham literally. So they believe that all of Abraham's physical descendants are the rightful owners of what we call the Holy Land today, and that their right to the land is forever. Yet here we are at the top of their beliefs, and we've already run into a contradiction where it begins to break down. Because based on what Zionists believe, they attribute that promise to Abraham and the land, they apply it exclusively to Jews. But historically, Jews derive from only one of the 12 tribes of biblical Israel, the tribe of Judah and possibly some of Benjamin. So that means that possibly 11 of the 12 biblical tribes of Israel were not Jewish. This creates a major contradiction for Christian Zionists because they argue that all of Abraham's physical descendants have a right to the land. Yet their entire movement is focused solely on Jewish people who only come from one of the 12 tribes, which means they're excluding most of Abraham's descendants from that promise. You might be wondering, well, aren't Jews the only biblical descendants from Abraham alive today anyway? Perhaps they just represent all of biblical Israel now, right? First, no. Historians and Jews themselves confirm that they come from one tribe, the tribe of Judah, and never once have they ever claimed to represent all of biblical Israel. And two, you might find yourself shocked at what I'm about to share. There's a piece of evidence that's alive and well today that I personally believe God preserved in part to expose the lie of Christian Zionism and to protect his church from it. Because, fun fact, there are still Samaritans alive to this day. If you watched my other video with my top 10 reasons why I'm not a Christian Zionist, you might know this already. They descend from the biblical tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, but they're not Jews. And to me, if God preserved both Samaritans and Jews to this day, I can only assume that there are other physical descendants from the other tribes of Israel who are living throughout the world today. Yet, Christian Zionists say that the modern state of Israel is a fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. These are prophecies that they've interpreted to mean that God foretold that he would regather the whole kingdom of Israel back together again. But if they're going to take the prophecy that way, then a true fulfillment of that prophecy would be all 12 tribes of Israel coming back together again, not just one tribe, the tribe of Judah, from whom the Jews derive. Because as the modern state of Israel exists today, it is a state strictly for Jews. So if there was a group of Samaritans today who wanted to move to the Holy Land, based on the laws that exist in the modern state of Israel today, they wouldn't be able to. So on one hand, you have Christian Zionists affirming that yes, all of the descendants from all of the 12 tribes have a right to the land. Yet on the other hand, the ideology of Christian Zionism is exclusively for Jews, so it inherently denies all of the other descendants of biblical Israel their right that they say they have over the land. Because again, most Christian Zionists believe that Jews have an exclusive right to the land. Yeah, it's starting to get a little weird. That's just one of the many contradictions hidden in plain sight within Christian Zionism. And we know that truth never contradicts itself, and it doesn't require all these mental gymnastics in order to make it work. So in my opinion, with Christian Zionism, this is just one of the many ways that the math is not mathing. But if you're interested in learning about the error that Christian Zionists make when interpreting Genesis 12:3, I'll bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, check out this video right here that I made in our continuation of the Bible and Israel. Either way, thanks so much for watching, and I'll either see you there or I will see you next time.